Have you ever sat at the dinner table, heart pounding, knowing the perfect sentence balances on the tip of your tongue, yet you nod instead, force a polite smile, and gulp the words down like bitter medicine? In that instant, a hairline crack runs straight through your self-respect, because silence feels safer than the sparks a real answer would strike. Repeat the ritual often enough, and those cracks spread, turning confidence into rubble beneath your own feet. We call this being mature, keeping the peace, rising above. The harsher truth is that most of the time it is fear dressed up in borrowed refinement, and every quiet surrender becomes a small betrayal of who you could be. Long before any of us were born, people without physical power rewrote the definition of virtue so they could survive in a world ruled by strength. Friedrich Nietzsche exposed that sleight of hand when he traced the origin of our moral ideas. Qualities we praise today, meekness, humility, uncomplaining patience, did not bloom from some overflowing spring of compassion. They were survival camouflage for the powerless. When those who lacked might could not conquer their enemies, they condemned might itself as evil and repackaged their submission as moral glory. Over centuries, that clever self-protection hardened into culture, and culture seeped into nursery rhymes, classroom rules, workplace etiquette, family expectations. By the time you learned to walk, the message was settled deep in your nervous system. Harmony is holy, conflict is sin. That legacy is the ghost in your ear when a co-worker takes credit for the project you led, and a sick feeling tells you to let it slide. It is the invisible hand covering your mouth when an older relative cracks a joke that leaves you burning. The ghost murmurs that real adults keep their voice calm, their feathers unruffled, their opinions mild. In the moment, obedience feels like safety, but the price accrues with brutal interest. Hours later, you stare at the ceiling, replaying what you wish you had said. That unsaid sentence decays into resentment. Nietzsche used the word ressentiment to capture this poisonous inward twist of anger. Energy denied does not evaporate. It ferments inside the chest, producing toxic fumes that cloud perception and warp spirit. The more often you bite back an honest reply, the thicker that vapor becomes. You catch yourself composing imaginary confrontations while driving, inventing speeches you will never deliver, nursing fantasies of cosmic justice while pretending to hover above petty squabbles. Meanwhile, your outer expression remains sugary and unthreatening. You congratulate yourself on forgiveness that is really paralysis wearing a halo. Left unchecked, ressentiment builds an identity around martyrdom. Some people grow proud of being doormats, bragging that nothing ruffles them. In truth, the soul underneath is numb from chronic betrayal. They confuse paralysis with kindness, self-erasure with grace. Life shrinks, possibilities wither, and the spine forgets it was designed to stand upright. Nietzsche's medicine is not reckless aggression. He prescribes awakening the will to power, a concept widely caricatured yet fundamentally simple. Every living thing carries a pulse that drives it to expand, explore, express, exceed. An acorn wills power when it cracks its shell and stretches roots into dark earth. A child wills power when she stacks blocks higher just to watch them topple and tries again. When social conditioning smothers that impulse, it doesn't die, it curdles into bitterness. Freeing it transforms the same fuel from corrosive acid into creative fire. Reclaiming that force starts small. You practice by telling the barista how to spell your name correctly instead of laughing it off. You decline a last-minute assignment that would sabotage your evening plans instead of saying sure, no problem. These tiny gestures are weightlifting reps for your psychological muscles. Each repetition teaches your nervous system that conflict is survivable, sometimes exhilarating, and often the only honest path. Nietzsche illustrated the climb toward authenticity with 3 creatures. First comes the camel, kneeling under loads other people pile on its back. The camel's strength is endurance, but endurance alone is a sterile virtue because it births nothing new. One day the burden cracks a bone the camel never realized could break, and something wild stirs. That roar is the first appearance of the lion. The lion's gift is a sacred full-bodied no. No to absurd deadlines, no to inherited guilt, no to the quiet death of self-betrayal. The lion fights the shining dragon of thou shalt, a monster plated in commandments. Thou shalt stay small, thou shalt not disturb, thou shalt remain harmless. Defeating the dragon is not about slaughtering the world. It is claiming enough ground to breathe without permission. When the dragon lies sleeping, a lighter being steps forth. The child. Unburdened, playful, inventive, the child no longer lives in perpetual opposition. Instead of simply reacting against old chains, it opens space for new games, paints values in colors no committee ever approved. Conflict evolves from a battlefield into a workshop where sparks fly and novel alloys form. You speak to co-create truth, or else you separate paths without rancor. Either outcome is richer than the static hum of fake peace. Without friction, sculpture cannot emerge. A statue becomes dust if every sharp edge is sanded smooth. So it is with a personality. Many life choices trace back to dodging disputes. The college major selected to keep parents smiling, the relationship maintained long after tenderness died. The social circle preserved because redrawing boundaries felt rude. Each accommodation carved away a chip of genuine selfhood. Society rarely objects. Crowds love a compliant camel, yet applause offers little comfort when the theater goes dark and you stand alone backstage. Silence is never neutral. It teaches the world how to treat you. Predators, whether emotional or institutional, have a flawless nose for soft borders. They nudge until they hit resistance. If none appears, nudging becomes looting. The habit you believe shelters you from chaos quietly paints a target on your back. Courage is not gifted at birth. It resembles calloused skin, formed through repeated exposure until tenderness becomes resilience. The first firm no may rattle your knees. Speak it anyway. The second no will shake less. Soon your voice discovers a steady timber that people feel even before you talk. And many conflicts evaporate because certainty itself is disarming. Do not frame confrontation as theft from harmony. Done with respect, it is carpentry, cutting and fitting wood, so the structure stands true. Two jazz musicians riffing clash on a chord progression, yet the tension births fresh melodies. Likewise, when you state your truth cleanly, you invite others to play their full melody too. And sometimes, the result is a richer harmony, sometimes a clear solo. Both outcomes surpass the muffled drone of suppressed emotion. Picture waking 5 years from now without dread for the Monday meeting, because you know you'll defend your ideas kindly yet firmly. Picture friendships where affection flows free of the sour back taste of unspoken slights. Picture gazing into a mirror and seeing no shame, only the quiet confidence of someone who does not abandon themselves. That future is not reserved for storybook heroes. It belongs to anyone willing to trade brief discomfort for lasting wholeness. Conflict is guaranteed. Misery is elective. Let tension heat your forge instead of your fuse. Speak what must be spoken. Honor your own outline. Then walk through the doorway you have carved, straight-backed, eyes forward. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button and comment below what you related to in this video.